Welcome to another Excel VBA tutorial. In today's video, we are going to move on with our exploration of our Outlook object model. Last video, we took a single Excel table and copied it over to Outlook. Now we're going to take multiple Excel tables across our worksheets and our workbook and copy those ones over to an Outlook email. It's broken into two sections. First section, we're going to focus on a worksheet. Second section, we're going to focus on the workbook, so taking all of the Excel tables. Let's jump into it. So let's go in our Visual Basic Editor. If you haven't already, make sure to insert a module. And then from here, we need to enable our object libraries. So we're going to have to create a reference to two of them. One is for Outlook, and then one is for Word. So people kind of always ask me this one, why do we have to do a Word one? Well, within the Outlook object model, if we want to work with the actual content of an email, that's actually leveraging the Word object model. And so if we want to kind of to make our code a little bit more concise and just easier to work with, it's just easier to reference the Word object model, because otherwise our code will be very long and very difficult. And it's going to be hard to kind of keep in mind like the different types of objects that are within both. And so if we have a reference to both object libraries, it just makes things easier. To enable them, we're going to go up to our ribbon bar and then go to Tools, down to References. I've already used these before, so they're enabled at the top. However, if you are new to this, you're not going to see it up here at the top, and you're not going to see it already enabled for you. So you just have to go down to Microsoft, so M for Microsoft. And the Outlook one will be right around here. Nice thing is they're in alphabetical order. And then the Word one will be right around here. You just want to make sure there's a check in those boxes. That means they're enabled. Make sure it's the object library for each one. Sometimes they can have multiple libraries. You want to make sure it's the object library. And then also, as you can tell, I have a number associated with it. That is just referencing the version that I'm currently on. I'm on the latest version of Office, so I have the highest number, I guess you could say. If you're on an earlier version, it will be a lower number. Everything we're going to do in today's video should work across, the last 3 or 4 versions. Unless you're going like to really early in advance, I can't necessarily guarantee it's going to work. Once you've enabled it, you can press OK. Let's start typing. So we'll create a new subroutine. We'll say table to Outlook. I'll put underscore multi. We're going to declare our variables. There's going to be 3 groups of them. One is for the Outlook variables, one is for the Excel variables, and then one is for the Word object variables. The first one will be the Outlook variables. And then we'll call one object, the Outlook app. And this one will be an Outlook dot application object. So just like Excel is an application, Word is an application, Outlook is its own application. This will basically, we're setting the states that we're going to create a new instance of Outlook, and then we're going to store it in this this variable. And then we're going to want to store an email, so we're going to create an email in Outlook. So we'll store that in a variable called Outlook item. And then this one will be called a mail item. So there's different types of items. There's meeting items, note items. We want a mail item, which is basically an email. And then from here, we need something called the inspector. So this one is called the Outlook inspector. And really what this is the actual window in which we're inspecting the email. And within this window, we can access the Word editor, which is the Word object model that we're using to display all the content and then write all this information for our email. So we have to create a reference to that inspector, and then we'll go and get the Word object from it. And so next group, we're going to declare Word variables. First one will be Word doc. This will be a Word document. The next one will be Word range. This will be a Word range. The document is really just the email content itself. And then from there, we can treat all the content as just different ranges of a Word document. And so just to make our lives easier of jumping around, it's good to create a reference for these variables. And then naturally, we're going to paste these in as a table. So we're going to want to create a reference to a word table because that way we can do things like formatting and stuff like that. Final group, we're going to declare Excel variables. There's only one. It is called a list object. So Excel table as list object, list table, Excel table, they're one and the same. From here, we're going to want to create a new instance of Outlook. Now, in the last couple of videos, I've kind of made the assumption that a lot of people have it open in the background, so I'm just going to continue that. However, I'm going to go and try to get that active instance of Outlook that is in the background. However, if I'm not able to get that active instance, an error will occur, and I basically want to tell VBA, if you encounter this error, just keep on going. And so how I do that is I say on error, resume next. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to first go and try to get the active instance of Outlook, if there is one. There might not be one. So I'm going to set my Outlook app equal to get object, bracket, comma, and then we're going to do a string Outlook.application. Close that string, close your brackets, you're good to go. Now, if there is no active instance, it's going to return an error. Now, that error is considered an object within VBA. So I'm going to go and basically work with that particular error object. And so what I'm going to say is, if error, create a new instance. And so I'm going to say, okay, if the error object, I'm going to go into the number property, and this will return the error number to me. If it equals 429, then set the Outlook app equal to a new Outlook application. And then I'm gonna close it off with an end if statement. So really I'm just creating a new instance. And how I'm doing that is first I'm determining, if there was an error, make sure it's error 429. That's really just the one saying it couldn't get the instance for it. And if that error does occur, then create a new instance. I'm gonna move this up just to save a little bit of space. Perfect. Now that we've done that, we can create a new email. So I'm gonna say set Outlook item equal to the Outlook app, and then it is create item, and then it's an Outlook mail item. So the create item method, we have to pass through the item that we want to create. We want to create a mail item, and then now it will be stored in this variable called Outlook item. And then from here, we can start working with the email, setting some basic information about it, and then looping through all the tables in our worksheet and then copy them. So we're going to say with Outlook item, close it off with my end with statement. And what I'm going to say, define some basic info. And we're going to say 2 equals abc at xyz.com. And then cc is equal to abc at xyz.com. And then I don't think that, oh, that's right, yeah. And then our subject line is equal to my Excel tables. Perfect. We'll display the email. So we're going to display the email. How do we do that? We just call it a display method. Then it will pop up as a window. And then from here, we need to create a reference to the inspector and then the word editor. And just to kind of show you, it's a little easier to understand once you see it visually. So here's our email, right? This window in which we're seeing it in, this is the inspector. So this is the quote unquote inspector of our email. I want to create an instance. Well, not an instance. I want to get a reference to this inspector and then get the word editor. So this little section down here. And that word editor is basically considered a Word document. So it's almost like an object within an object. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to create a reference to that editor, not the editor, to the inspector and then the editor. So we're going to get the inspector. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the OLOOK inspector equal to .get inspector property, so the one that we're currently in with the item. And then I'm going to get the word editor. And so I'm going to set the OWord doc equal to the OLOOK inspector and then the word editor property, so the word kind of document itself. And then from here, now we can actually loop through all the tables in our particular worksheet. So loop through tables on the active sheet. And so I'll say for each Excel table in active sheet, list objects, and then next. Perfect. So we have our loop. So we're going to loop through each individual Excel table on my active sheet. So my active sheet in this one, this is sheet 1. Very important to keep that in mind. So we're going through and we're looping through all the list objects on the active sheet. I'm going to copy the table. So I'm going to take the Excel table, go into the range property, and then call the copy method. So we're going to copy the range of our Excel table. So each list object has a range property associated with it. And so that range property just simply represents the range that it takes up on our worksheet. And we're just going to copy that range. And then from here, what we're going to do is we're going to get a reference to the range within our quote unquote email. We're going to insert some space and then we'll copy it. We'll paste it. So let's define the range. And I'll set my OWord range equal to the OWord doc, the application, the active document, and then the content of it. Whoa, not that one. And then from here, I want to go to the end of my selection. So I'll just say, hey, word range, and then I'll go to the collapse method. So this will take me to a certain position of my content. I want to go to the end of my content. So I got to specify the direction. And I'm going to say, go to the word collapse end. So go to the end of my selection or my range. And then from here, I want to insert a break. So I'll add a new paragraph. And then from here, what I'll do is I'll say, set OWord range equal to the OWord doc paragraphs dot add, and then I'll go into the word range, and then I'll insert a break, and then that's it. So we've defined our range, we added a new paragraph, and then we inserted a break. At this point, we've done pretty much everything we need to do. And then we just need to paste it. That's really about it. So what we're going to do is we're going to paste the table. And so I'm going to go into, my range. Yes, we're going to go into my range, paste Excel table. And then we're going to have to set all the properties because we're doing the paste Excel table method. And so we're going to say linked to Excel. This is the first parameter we have to pass through. I'll put false. I've done true for the other ones. Word formatting, I'll do false. And then RTF, for its text formatting, I'll put that equal to true. So again, we're just pasting at this point. When we go on the second section, we'll do some more formatting, but let's just see what it looks like right now. Okay, perfect. So as you can tell, it copied each one of these over, and then it put different tables in there. Oh, I never put my body section. I'll put my body section here are my tables. I guess that really doesn't matter, but it's basically just the body content of our email. So if I run it again, sorry, I'm picky. Cool. So now it has both tables. You can tell they are not linked. So these are just basically considered Excel table objects now. Well, not Excel tables, but Outlook tables. And so they're just treated as such. So that's how we do one particular, that's one particular worksheet. Let's see how it would look if we wanted to do the entire workbook. So I'm going to take this one. Oh, nope. I just want to copy it. And then I will do this, paste it, because it's almost identical. And then I'll just say workbook. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to create an outer loop. So I'm going to say loop through each worksheet in the active workbook. And so I'm going to say for each worksheet in active workbook dot worksheets. Perfect. And then technically, because this is a worksheet object, I will create a variable for it just to be safe. And so I'll say dim worksheet as a worksheet object. And then I'm going to indent this. Perfect. And then I really want to change this one because this one will always refer to the active sheet in my loop. So even if I'm on the second loop of my workbook worksheets, it's still going to be referencing the active sheet. And so unless I call the activate method, it's not really appropriate to use this one. What I really want to do is use the worksheet one. And then from here, it would look almost identical. So it's going to work pretty much exactly the same. But let's actually take our table now and do some basic formatting with it. So let's create a reference to our Word table and do some formatting. So what we'll do is we'll create a reference to the table. And so I'm going to set my OWord table object equal to my OWord doc. Go into the tables collection. Now, because I'm going to have multiple ones, I'm going to have to count it as I go along if I want to work with each one individually. Now, there's obviously different ways we could do this potentially. You could use arrays and things like that. But, just for this example, let's keep it relatively simple and just work with each one as we paste it. And so I'll go again into my OWord doc, into the tables collection, and then I'll call the count property. So this will return the count at any given time in our loop. And so as we add a new one, the count will increase, and then this will create a reference to the latest table that we simply pasted. So it's a very easy way to always get the table that we just pasted. And then from here, now we're just going to reference that table. And then what we're going to do is we'll do things like allow autofit. So as we increase content in there, it will automatically fit the new content. And then I want my tables to fit the entire email window. So I'm going to say autofit behavior, the method, and then I'll say, hey, make sure that it fits the window, the email window. And then I have to get my notes. I can't remember which ones I had next. Oh yeah, style. Oh yes, style. Okay. So this will change the style of our table. So it won't just be like these little outline borders. We can specify the style property, and we'll put that equal to word style. There's a lot of styles. And then you have to go down to table. Told you there's a lot. Table, and then you have all these different options. I'm gonna do a dark list. I think it looks pretty cool, to be honest. And then there's padding. So we can actually put padding between the top and bottom content of our cell. So I can say bottom padding, and I can do something like, hey, take pixels to points, and I want it to be 10 points high. And then for this one, we'll just keep it true. And then I'll take the same line and then I'll do something with the top padding. So this will just kind of add some space in between the top and the bottom content of my cell. And then with this, we really have everything we need. So let's see what it looks like when we paste it over. Hopefully it doesn't fail with the clipboard error. What happened? Oh, no. Oh, it did. It did. I only had 3. Did it paste 3 though? I don't know if it pasted 3. You know what? I think I know what that probably is. God, it's kind of frustrating when this happens. Sometimes you do have to activate it, I've learned. For some reason, it just doesn't like it if you're not on the worksheet. Not always. Yeah, see, right there. Again, it's a stability issue. I've done it previous times, never has a problem. So sometimes what we have to do is we actually have to activate the worksheet on which the table it's on. It seems to be this error that will pop in and out. In previous times I've done it, no problem. Apparently now it just doesn't like it. But as you can tell, we've now added some list objects to our particular email, and it's now changed the style of it. There's some spacing in between the top and the bottom content of the cell. And then it's also fitting the entire email window. So if I actually expand this, it actually expands it out. It's pretty cool. It's very dynamic. I like that. But it makes it really nice just to kind of put your information in there. You know, if you want to add some more content or just send it off, it's, you know, pretty much as easy as that. But yeah, that does it for today's video. If you have any questions about how to, you know, copy list objects over to Word, you know, please put those questions in the comments below. Also, if you could make sure to like the video, you know, we always appreciate the support. And then also, if you're not already, make sure to subscribe to the channel, just so that way you get regular updates as we create new videos. So, you know, we're pretty good with Outlook right now. Probably gonna jump back into Excel for a little bit and PowerPoint and then back into Outlook. I know with Excel, we want to do pivot tables and charts at some point. And then with PowerPoint, we want to start talking about how we can format slides, and then Word documents, how we can navigate a Word document. And then with Outlook, there's a lot with Outlook, how we can do different types of items and things like that. So trust me, we have plenty of content we can cover. And then also you can see all these wonderful little errors that we all encounter. I like when the errors happen personally, because I think it's a good opportunity for you guys to see, you know, what other people probably experience all the time when they're writing code. I don't try to hide the errors. I think it's good that you see them, because these are common errors that, you know, aren't very clear, and they're not giving you a direction as to what's going wrong. So I think it's good that you guys are getting this chance to see it. So thanks again for watching, guys. We will see you in the next video.